Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And it seems that we have some drama afoot with the patch notes in relation to and compared to what we've been seeing and showcasing as star agents on the APK. And that's sort of part of the warning that we have to give in the PSA on every single video, that the stats and things might be changed. But with that being said, I wanted to point out to you those changes because I've made a video already on one of the two changes, and I don't want you to be misled, but also to raise awareness and basically just ask the question, what is Netmarble smoking on this one? Like, why are they making these decisions? Why are they doing this last minute for the patch notes? So anyways, what am I talking about? Well, some eagle-eyed viewers noticed when I was scrolling through, because I didn't notice, so apologies. They noticed that on the uniform effect, I said they're all the same, but actually, in fact, they're slightly different. Most of them are exactly the same. However, White Fox's lifestyle series, the Hello Barbie edition for Marvel Future Fight, has only a 10% increase all attack for allies with leadership. Additionally, love that word, Sabretooth's Uncanny Avengers uniform only gives the chain hit damage 15%. So why is that a problem? Well, for the last 4 or 5 days, I mean, I haven't made a video about Sabretooth, but people have been making videos talking about White Fox's buffs and the fact that she has a 15% increase all attack. So I'm not really like imagine you're working at Netmarble, you're a developer, you created this uniform, 15%, so it's a nice number, and then you get this call one day from your angry CEO. What are you doing? 15%, that's OP, that's gonna break the character, it's gonna ruin the game, or it's gonna destroy Marvel Future Fight. Change it to 10% right now. How are we supposed to introduce Lifestyle Series Volume 2 if there's gonna be 15% on Volume 1? What are we gonna do, bump it up to 20%? I honestly just don't understand what was the point. You should have just made it 10% from the beginning. Is there some sort of secret math that you guys are doing, some sort of crazy OP super high level testing that even I can't tell is going on, that you guys realize that 5% was make or break for certain content? There's no way. Like, if that were the case, if you guys are that diligent, why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell the community we ran some tests and the function of this buff was more than we wanted, and it was going to imbalance things more than we wanted to? That would not only give us clarity as fans and as the community, but it would also leave us with a really good impression of the Netmarble devs, because wow, they know their game even better than we do. Whereas now it's just like some kid got onto your servers and started tapping the keyboard and changed some things around and nobody noticed. Or you have some rogue agent who's going in after the fact and editing stuff for no reason because he hates animalistic characters, because White Fox and Sabretooth were the only ones targeted. I don't know what kind of BS stories I have to come up with here to try and explain why random characters are getting nerfed. Essentially, they're getting nerfed less than 24 hours before the update. Now, yeah, you guys tell us as star agents that we have to tell everyone watching that the numbers and things aren't finalized. Sure, but give us a reason for some of these changes. Don't just make them arbitrarily, because then it just throws everything out the window. And you know what? It does leave some of the people watching wondering, well, what's the point of watching the star agents at all? Because I could get a completely different update from what they're showing me. And you know what? In the case of White Fox and Sabretooth, it's not completely different, but it is different. You know what? If I was a big-time Sabretooth fan, I would be heckin' pissed. Because 10% down to 0 is a bit bigger than 10%, 15% down to 10%. So, yeah, that's kind of messed up. I don't really understand. You guys were like, in the first place, you only gave him one skill change. Sure, it's a good skill or whatever. It's got good effects, blah, blah, blah. It's a bit lazy. Okay, it's a bit lazy to only change one skill when his first and his second skill are already super toilet. Let's put that out there. You guys were looking at this uniform and you're like, okay, this wasn't the uniform we wanted to give Sabretooth because he's got a lot of other cool looks, but he's part of the Uncanny Avengers team. If we don't give him a uniform now, people are going to complain, and we can cash in on some whales purchasing a Mega Mythic uniform ticket because this is a crystal character. Okay, but then you take a look at his first skill, and you take a look at his second skill, and they're nice skills, I guess, but like you could have added a buff, you could have added some sort of extra animation, anything at all. You could have changed around his fourth skill a little bit. It's cool and all, yeah, it's cool. His fifth skill is amazing, don't ever change that. But, you know, you really could have done more for him than just 3. Now, yeah, 3 looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks really, really cool. But then if you were only going to change one skill, why not leave those buffs? Why draw even more attention to the uniform if you're only going to buff one skill? It just doesn't make any sense. So what I'm showing you guys right now is I'm showing you guys all of the skills so that just in case anything else changes from the APK until now, we'll know about it. I'm starting with these 2 characters here because they're the ones that got their uniforms, you know, stealth nerfed, you can call it. Stealth changed. I guess I can't call it nerfed because they were never in the game. But let's just make sure that she still has her iframe on 1, that she still has the same second skill attack, that she still has the iframe on 3. You know, because I don't know if they're going to change the uniform effects. They could change. They could change anything, right? So why don't we just check everything to make sure? So there we go. We can make sure that these 2 characters are not, you know, they haven't been altered in any way, shape, or form. Additionally, I wanted to quickly cover the question of the new characters because I didn't get a chance to cover the new characters, but I do want to just quickly show you guys, and I went through and looked myself, but just so you guys are clear here, when you look at the patch notes, because I've never really talked about this specifically, the patch notes will give you all of the effects and all of the numbers at level 1. These are level 1 abilities. So you can see, you know, you have things like, for example, with Swordmaster, it says 70% chance. Where is it? 70% chance for immunity. That's because it's a level 1 skill. Like, we're getting like the sun coming in here. So if I see the skill right here, it's going to say 70% chance. So it's exactly the same. You can compare it to the patch notes. But if you level him up to tier 2 in this preview, it now, well, it's still 70% because it's a level 1 skill. Excuse me. When you actually get the character and you level up the skill, you'll see that it goes up to 100%. So now it's 100% chance for immunity. So for those of you that were going back in the videos and saying, oh, Cynicalex, yours says it goes up to minus 45% immunity or whatever, for 100% chance for immunity, etc. The buffs are higher than they were on the patch notes. They're getting nerfed. It's not that they're getting nerfed. It's not that they're getting changed. It's that these are all level 6 skills. So that guard hit, that's a 5 guard hit for 3 seconds. It's a 15% all defense buff. You know, it's a -5 up to -45 and so on and so forth. That's because it's level 6 skills versus the level 1 skills. Some people were saying it about Dr. Voodoo that he got nerfed. He didn't get nerfed. They still haven't added in the poison tag for his skills, so you can see here on the skill wheel it says energy here next to active, but for all of his other skills it still doesn't say anything. I really don't know what the deal is with that, but just to show you guys, for example, on Lizard, you see there Toxic Spit. It's very clearly tagged with poison, and then I'm going Supernova by the way. And then with Green Goblin, with the classic look, you can see that all of his abilities except one are tagged with poison. So this is what I expect to see. I expect to see that poison tag on 4 of Dr. Voodoo's 5 skills. The only one I expect to not see it on, of course, is the skill 4 that already has the energy tag. So that's one thing to look out for that has to change, that has to show up, because he deals poison damage, and his whole tier 2 passive, or sorry, not tier 2 passive, tier 1 4-star passive, Voodoo Ritual, it is based on, you know, attacking an enemy with a poison effect. So yeah, if they don't give him poison on his skills, then his 4-star passive is literally useless. He doesn't get a heal, he doesn't get the decrease to all attack. So also, I just realized it's such a bad passive. Minus 25% with a 9-second cooldown. A 10% heal every 9 seconds. It could, honestly, that cooldown should be half. It should be 4 seconds. It should be every 4 seconds. Yeah. Just putting it out there, Netmarble. I mean, he's got a lot of other cool abilities. He's a strong character. But 9 seconds, you guys really could have done better than that. Hopefully he gets a uniform eventually. But yeah. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, guys. I wanted to quickly show you guys the skills here so you can double check for the new characters, because you can go back and reference all my other videos for the existing characters, but we can see here she doesn't have an iframe on 1 or 2, but the 2 skill is a very, very cool sort of V-pad type skill where you can move her around a little bit. And then her first skill is just a regular attack. Her third skill is an iframe with a really nice little attack there and movement, and then lingering ability. Her fourth skill, also an iframe. Arrow has some of the coolest looking abilities in the game. And then her 5th skill is the V-pad. I don't know if this is an iframe or not. It's hard to tell with the thing on. So we're gonna turn it off here and see. Okay, you cannot turn off SFX. Well, you can turn off SFX, but it doesn't matter for her 5th skill. That's kind of weird. Moving on to Swordmaster really quickly here. No iframe on 1. Oh, iframe at the end of 1, excuse me. No iframe on 2. No iframe on 3. Iframe on 4. Very nice long iframe on 4. And, okay, another animation here on 5. Again, hard to tell if it's an iframe or not. You have to you'll have to test it out versus Thanos or someone else and see if you get hit. It's important to test it against Thanos because it's invincibility, not immunity, so he'll be able to debuff you. And then for Dr. Voodoo, we've got 1 with no iframe, we've got 2 with no iframe, we've got 3 with intermittent iframes, we've got 4 with no iframe, and then we've got 5 with an iframe. And a very, very delayed attack. So there you go. Those are the new characters. That is the sort of quote-unquote drama regarding White Fox and Sabretooth. I really, really wish the devs would speak up about this and just give us a small little blurb, put it in a tweet, something, and just say, listen, we wanted to do this for the character, we wanted to do that for the character, we have plans for the character, whatever, so on and so forth. Just something, just anything. You can just make something up, just lie to us, it really doesn't matter. Just say something rather than these weird like these last second shadow nerfs or these last second shadow changes. If they're buffs or if they're changes that add something to the character, it's obviously better, and I can't be the only one to know here. Obviously, the Netmarble devs know that it's better to add than to take away. That's why it's better to buff weak characters than to nerf strong characters. That's just a really simplistic design philosophy that most people and most developers ascribe to. Obviously, you can't always do that. Sometimes in certain games and certain types of competitions, you have to nerf things because they're just too strong. But for the most part, especially with games like this, it's always much better for the fans and for the community to just nerf the ones that are weak up to a level that's closer to the strong characters. And so, yeah, I just really don't know why they did this. And hopefully we get an answer, but I'm not going to hold my breath for one. So let me know what you guys think of Sabretooth and White Fox and everything else. And hopefully you'll be live with me tonight on YouTube for the update. Hit the like if you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.